Friday night. You can see I have a very special guest with me this week, Bisanz.
Hi, Carrie. I'm really happy to be here with you today. Happy Friday.
Super exciting that you're here with me today. I know that I've been talking with you, Bill, about strategic planning, and you've been super excited about it. So I thought it'd be a good idea to bring you on to the show and talk to people about strategic planning. But first of all, what the heck is strategic planning? I think that's a good place to start.
I think that's a great place to start. So what strategic planning means to real estate equities, I'll answer that question. Every year for the past 8 years in a row, believe it or not, we, meaning myself and the leadership team, take 3, maybe 4 days and go and lock ourselves in a room and really try to create an incredible plan for the next 12 months. And we start off by, looking back at what the previous year was like, how the company's doing, and what do we think the most important work that we can do in order to accomplish our mission, providing housing, building communities, and enhancing lives. What do we think the most important work is in the upcoming 12 months? And we do this, it takes a lot of time, but we do this because it just really helps us get clear on what is a single game plan that we want everybody in the company to strive for. And I want to also share that we really listen to what we hear from our entire team. People are contributing generously through surveys before strategic planning, new hire interviews, stay interviews, exit interviews, and our biannual employee satisfaction survey. So we really have a lot of great, information from all of the team, and we really lean on that information when we make our plans for the year.
Yeah, I think that's good to know. I mean, we definitely saw that with the changes that have happened with PTO and things like that, where I know that the leadership team took that feedback to heart and made some changes based on that feedback, which is very good to see as an employee that we really are being listened to. So I think that's cool. I hear people talk about going to strategic planning every year, and I've heard it's a pretty grueling process. So, and I think it's good for us to know that, like, while we're doing the daily grind in our positions, that the leadership team is doing what they need to do to kind of steer the ship and is kind of correcting that or changing course as we need to each year, which is kind of a good thing for us to know, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. And then just to add to that, every month we look at this plan and we look at how we're doing against the plan. And once a quarter, we go off-site again for a half a day. And so it really is the guiding plan for the entire company. So whether you work in, marketing or compliance or development or portfolio management or a property, ideally, all of the initiatives that you're being asked to participate in and help make happen are a reflection directly of the plan that we create every year.
So I know we talk a lot about mission, vision, and values. We did some fun contests around that to make sure we were all privy to it. Is that something that you guys talk about during the strategic planning? Do you ever make changes to it, or is it kind of static, or how does that work?
That's a great question, Carrie. We developed the mission, vision, and values 8 years ago when we originally did strategic planning for the first time. And at that point, it was a 5-day exercise. And for the first 3 days, we had about 50 people from across the company, from every single role was represented at all the properties and the corporate team. So literally 45 to 50 people. And we developed the mission, vision, and values really holistically with a lot of input from a lot of people. And I'm just so pleased that they continue to seem to really serve us. We surveyed the entire company before this last strategic planning, and 50 people answered a survey about how well are they relating to and connecting with our mission and our vision and our values. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to see that based on the feedback, the company continues to feel a really strong connection to our mission of providing housing, building communities, and enhancing lives. And that's so great because that is our purpose as an organization, that mission. And we also see strong connection, continued connection to our values of right attitude, integrity, knowledge, and ownership. I think we saw a big push on the knowledge side with resource, that we're launching that. And I think that, I'm going to work a little harder to try to talk about these values a little bit more. I think ownership is really going to be a key value for 2023. We've got some big initiatives. It's going to take everybody's ownership to make it happen. But overall, it's really awesome that people feel a strong connection and they feel like this mission and our values are serving them. And we decided to make a change to our vision this year.
What? A change?
The whole world is about to change.
I know. First time we've ever done that.
In 8 years, you said it's been around for 8 years?
It's been around for 8 years.
Okay.
And so you can imagine this is a pretty big deal. I don't know if you might not be ready for this, but I mean, if you are, I can tell you what the new vision is.
Yeah, maybe I need to take a nap first.
Would you like to know what the new vision is?
I might need to take a nap first before
I
can't handle it.
Are you sitting down? Okay. So seriously though, the new vision is to develop, own, and manage 8,000 apartment units by 2025.
Okay. I can see how that's a little bit different. There's like basically a year to quantify it. Which is that's a cool thing to, instead of just saying because I know that every year we've just kind of changed our number, like, oh, we're managing this, and then we change it, but this is now a goal for us, right?
Right. So I'm glad you picked up on that right away. So definitely by adding the date, that gives us 3 years. So by the end of 2025, we want to have 8,000 apartments, and I'll talk a little bit more about how we get there when I get to the strategies. But and we also wanted to be distinct from our mission, because our mission is so solid and really people get it. And we wanted this vision statement to reflect who we've become as a company and where we're going. And we are a company that is growing rapidly by owning and managing the apartment communities that we develop. And so we felt like having those 3 key aspects of what we do, we develop, manage, and own apartment communities, and we're going to try to accomplish an awful lot here in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, we are just growing in leaps and bounds, and I think it's just so exciting that, I don't know if a lot of people know that we haven't been developing for all that long. I mean, especially for new folks that have come on to the company, like, this is something that's rather new for us, but I think we were listed on a list of top growing real estate companies in the nation this last year, which is kind of amazing for a little company like us to be listed on something so important, to be, growing that fast.
Yeah, we were in the top 30 nationally of affordable housing development companies in the whole country, which is
that's so crazy.
Wild. I can't believe it. And you're right. Like, this chapter of our growth and building new buildings has been something that we've really been focused on for about the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. Our company's 51 years old, as you also may know. And there have been periods in the past where we did more development, but this is by far our most significant chapter of building and developing apartment buildings, and it's really exciting. This year we developed 5 strategies, 4 of which are new, and one of them is a continuation of a strategy that we had last year. And depending on how much time we have, I'll walk you through these various strategies. The first one, as you might imagine, is called 8,000.
Okay.
And 8,000 is to strategically develop new affordable properties in Minnesota, Arizona, and wait for it, Indiana. To expand the number of units that we own while reducing our third-party management over time. And this year in 2023, we want to develop 1,000 new units of affordable and mixed income new construction apartment communities in Minnesota, Arizona, and Indiana. We're really excited about Indiana because they now have a state tax credit that helps make affordable housing more possible there.
Okay.
And it would be our first expansion in Indiana since we arrived there 10 years ago. So that would be a really big deal. Just to give a little bit of context for what this goal means, as I said, we want to try to get 1,000 units of new construction, closed on and secured in 2023. In 2022, we closed on 6 properties for a total of 842 units.
Okay.
So we had a big year. We got a lot of momentum. If we get to 1,000 units, it's a little bit more than it was last year, but not crazy. So it's like sustained growth. It's we're pretty much running at this clip right now. And we currently have 4,439 apartments that are operating or under construction.
Okay.
So we're aiming to add just over 3,500 apartments over the next 3 years to accomplish this strategy and our vision.
Okay. I know that you talked about the surveys being a huge part of, bringing that information into strategic planning. So when you get the feedback from employees, are there changes that you make throughout the year that affect like company culture and things like that based on that feedback?
Absolutely, Carrie. We really listened to that feedback. We made tremendous progress last year with our employee satisfaction and engagement. And one of our strategies for 2023 is called Being the Best. And it's described as creating a company culture of high-performing employees that have a passion for managing and developing, back to our vision, for managing and developing buildings so that we can improve employee satisfaction, improve employee engagement, and excel at property performance. And we're absolutely committed to continuing to listening to our team through these various surveys and communication channels. We're very committed to making sure our salary and benefits continue to remain attractive and competitive, and to continue to build our culture and team by, fun events and activities like, the bus tour, the boat ride, parties, etc.
So were there other strategies that you discussed or agreed on that had specifically to do with development, since that's such a big deal this year with, all of the growth that we're going to be experiencing? What were some of the development strategies that you guys came up with?
Well, there were 2 strategies. One was a continuation of last year, and then there was a new one that we should chat about. The first one, the new one, is called Tip of the Spear.
Oh, that's intense.
As we mentioned, right, very powerful. As we mentioned, we're leading with our development work, and Tip of the Spear is about focusing on all of the dates and all of the milestones that are associated with bringing a new development into the world. And there are some things that are really obvious, like you have to build the building, you have to lease the building, but there are a handful of other things that we promise banks, cities, etc., and the government about what has to happen once the building is built in full. And if we're going to be building, 5-6 buildings a year, we have to get just as good at that as we do building the buildings, leasing the buildings up, and we've gotten really good at those 2 things. We think that, this is going to create a lot of better opportunities for our entire team. There's going to be new buildings, new job opportunities, and we really hope that we can make a lot of improvement in integrating the development part of our company and that team with the rest of the company and the operations team, because they're so connected and related, and we really see the importance of making sure that it's really just one team, and that operations understands what development does and development understands what operations does. And you're going to start to see, for those of you who are in operations, managers and portfolio directors, you're going to start to see Patrick Ostrom, our managing development partner, on some of the manager calls. The development company is also going to organize a training on the development process for people who aren't in the development team. So those are some of the projects that you can look forward to around Tip of the Spear.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Not only is it helpful, but it's catchy, and I could see a hashtag Tip of the Spear, some t-shirts, probably your new novel that comes out, Tip of the Spear by Bill Bisanz.
I mean, just between you and me, it's my favorite name of 2023.
It's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty great. I
Tip
agree.
of the spear.
Can
I give you credit for coming up with that?
No, I think Pete deserves
Okay,
credit for
Pete.
that.
Kudos
Yeah,
to you, Pete. That was a good one.
That's Pete. I can't steal Pete's thunder on that.
I was just telling Pete yesterday, he's an accountant, but he's pretty darn creative for.
He is. He hides it well though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a pretty creative accountant.
That's impressive. So tip of the spear. Okay, I'm feeling it. I'm on board with that.
The next strategy that really has a lot to do with the growth and development is called Sold Out. And Sold Out is a continuation of, we had this strategy in 2022. It was very successful. We were successful in leasing up all of our properties on time, and we need to continue to do that to grow at this level. So Sold Out is around achieving lease up goals for new properties through property management. And so we can meet our budget and our pro formas every single time. So we have a very strong project management office and a very strong leasing team, and we really want to just continue that work. But it's that important, so we kept it on the list of strategies for 2023. The last strategy, Carrie, that I want to talk about is really a strategy around going back to the fundamentals of property management. And it is called property performance. So probably the most straightforward of all the names you've heard this year. And property performance is described as maintaining targeted occupancy, rent collections, potential gross rents, and controllable expenses by improving the selection of location, residents, and training our team members. And this initiative reflects our vision to be absolutely excellent at the basics of property management. And when I started as a manager 21 years ago at Heritage Hills, my portfolio director told me that it was my responsibility to keep Heritage Hills clean, green, full, and collected.
Wow.
And right? And 21 years later, I really continue to appreciate how simple and how wise that is, even though I know a lot more now about how hard it is to do that.
Yeah.
It's not complicated, but it is difficult.
Yep.
And today we have so many great tools that help us that we didn't have in the past. Things, just to name a few, like Resource and our new lease, which is being rolled out, that has a lot more strength in it, Knock, and there are many other things. But we have some really great tools that help save time and make the work easier. I know right now there's a big occupancy blitz going on in our company, and I just want to emphasize how important that is and how important this initiative is, because whether you're working at a new property or an existing property, every time we do a project, they look at everything. So when we have a property that's, at 75%, occupancy, when we're budgeted to be at 95%, we have to answer a lot of questions around that to the banks and to the cities. And so I want to make sure everybody understands how connected we are. And we're talking a lot about the growth, which was the first strategy. And I'm ending this because I want everybody to understand, no matter whether you're at a new property or an existing property, what you do to keep your property clean, green, full, and collected is absolutely of the equivalent importance, no matter where you work in this company. In 2023, we are going to be introducing some new initiatives that are going to make fundamental property management hopefully work better. There are two that we know about. One is around electronic payments, and the other one is around electronic certification. And lastly, there's an incredible opportunity that I couldn't be more excited about, and it is the potential to partner with a national nonprofit organization that has a series of programs that really support families through a combination of positive credit reporting. So
great.
They will report like when a resident pays their rent on time, but they don't report negative credit events. Okay. So it helps families build their credit, which is cool. They also offer financial assistance if a family needs that kind of help. And there's other programs they have that foster household stability and family success.
Okay.
And I just can't think of a more meaningful partnership to help further our mission of providing housing, building communities, and enhancing lives. So we're really exploring that. It's not a done deal, but it's something that they have a lot of experience with our type of apartment communities, and we're hopeful around that as well.
It sounds like a perfect fit together with, our mission and the demographic that we're serving, and how that really kind of ties into our mission and vision and values. I mean, it's really a leg up for the folks that live with us. So, and I love the idea of, sometimes we get caught up in doing our jobs, and we think about our department or our, particular site as being kind of this island off on itself. But with these things that we're implementing and the changes that the company's making, we're going to have a lot more integration between departments, but also to remember that everything we do, if you're on site and you're pushing forward with all your initiatives on site, that you are part of the whole. Like, you're affecting the part of the whole of the company by every thing you do. And I think it's a good reminder for all of us in every department that we're in to remember that we're all part of this big wheel, and we're just little cogs in that wheel. So it's a good reminder.
Carrie, thanks again for hosting me and giving me a chance to share what this company is looking forward to in the next 12 months. I love, this part of our community and what you've done with the NAG, and I feel like this is a really nice way to have a kind of a virtual conversation with our entire community about, what we're really going to focus on. And I wanted to wrap up this conversation with a fable.
And now, it's time for Fable Time with Bill.
The story is about two stonecutters in ancient Egypt. And each one of these stonecutters was working extremely hard under the burning sun. Each was using the same tools to chisel these massive stone blocks with their hands and chisels. And you looked at these two individuals, and one was absolutely miserable and the other one was happy. And when they went up to the miserable stonecutter and we asked him, what are you working on? They answered, can't you see I'm carving this huge stone and my back is breaking and I'm dying of heat under the sun? And they walked down the path and they asked the happy stonecutter, what are you working on? And they answered, I'm building a great pyramid that will stand for generations to come. So we at Real Estate Equities want and need every one of you to help us build a great pyramid of apartments that serve families, that provide housing, that build communities, and that enhance lives. And I really hope that you can all realize how much every single one of you makes a difference, whether you're helping keep a property clean, whether you're helping manage a property and do customer service, whether you're helping lease a new apartment to a deserving family, whether you're helping qualify somebody to move into one of our apartments, developing a new project, acquiring the land, getting the city to work with us, assisting with IT, working on marketing. We all contribute to this mission, and we can all build a great pyramid together. And we need all of you to make this work. Please join me, bring your best self in 2023, and let's make it an incredible year.
Awesome. I'm excited about 2023. It's going to be an exciting year of lots of developing and lots of challenges, but I think we're up to it for sure.
Thanks, Carrie. Always a pleasure to be on the NAG. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill, for joining us on the Friday NAG. And I think, okay, just a special request. Next time, juggling in the hashtag tip of the spear shirt.
Well, I can't give away all my secrets at once. We'll have
Okay.
to see about that.
All right. I mean, it's on my wish list, so I can
All
always
right.
ask, right?
I hear ya. I hear ya.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Friday Nag. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, have an amazing weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bill, you have to say bye.
Bye. I didn't know I was still on.
Okay, hold
Bye.
on. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.